Welcome back, my friends, to Scale Model Kit Review. This is your host, Steve. This month, DeAgostini Collectibles sent me another package for the Volkswagen T1 Samba bus. Now, I'll be working on package number 13, stages 58 through 62. If you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and check out this build and subscribe to it today. Let them know I sent you. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back to the DeAgostini Collectibles Build the Volkswagen T1 Samba bus. Now I am on package number 13, stages 58 through 62. So in stage 58 we received the parts for the fuel tank and the air cleaner. Stage 59 we received one of the tires, and I believe that's the left rear, and we received the wheel in stage 60 for that tire. And then in stage 61, we received the tire for the right rear and the wheel for the right rear in stage 62. So let's get started on stage 58. And I received another free gift this month, and this would be a very nice backpack. Very cool. Now remember, the gifts can vary depending on when you sign up for this bus. So check out DeAgostini Collectibles to figure out what free gifts you'll receive. But I'm really looking forward to this one. It's great. Thank you, DeAgostini. Let's look at the magazine for stage 58. Fantastic magazine you'll receive with each stage. And these magazines run 13 to 14 pages front to back. Semi-gloss pages. Lots of great articles here. I've read every one of them. A lot of research was done by DeAgostini, and you can see wonderful photography, some vintage photography here for these buses. And then they also give us illustrated step-by-step instructions, and they are greatly done here. You actually get an assembly diagram, which is pretty cool here. Step by step. And there you have that. So let's get a close-up of the instructions. So on the instructions, we're going to be assembling, looks like, the air cleaner here. We received the parts for the fuel tank. And you can see the assembly diagram there. So we start assembling the air cleaner here. Pretty simple. Keep going. And we just hold on to our parts till later assembly steps. And here's the result. So let me get the parts and I will be right back. Here's the parts for stage 58. Fuel tank there, air cleaner. I'll take these out with a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. BPO4 screws, and it looks like the fuel tank there. 2 halves made of plastic. And the air cleaner parts themselves are all plastic. There is a rubber part, and that's this part on top. Very pliable. Okay, you can see that. Alright, the first thing we'll do is we'll assemble this filter pipe itself. And this little rubbery piece is going to slot in. There's a notch there. Just like that. Next we'll bring over our cap. Same thing, it will slot in the same way. And that's how that looks. Then we'll bring in over the cover for the filter, and that's going to slot in just a certain way here. There it goes. And we'll put a screw into that. This takes a BPO4 screw. That's tight. Now we bend these over into the slots. 1, These are like the hold down clamps. Very cool. There we go. And that's good there. That's how that looks. Very nice. And that's all we do for stage 58. We'll go ahead and save these other parts for later build. Let's go ahead and head over and do stage 59. And I'm back with stage 59. Let's look at the build instructions. So for stage 59, we have the tire and the fuel tank assembly. So this is where we're going to install the fuel tank, but they did give us the tire, left rear tire, and that's what we do. So I'll go ahead and assemble the fuel tank here. Putting on the piping there, assembling the two halves together, mounting it to the rear chassis. Looks great. Install some screws, and that's what it should look like. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. So here's parts for stage 59, and I'll take this out, we'll get a closer look. And here's the tire that came with it, all the markings, Continental, very nice. Nice tread pattern. So of course when we go to install this on the wheel, we're going to go ahead and heat it up in some boiling water first. But we're not going to do that in this stage. We're going to install the fuel tank in this stage. So let me get those parts over. Here they are. And we'll look at doing that. We retrieve the rear part of the chassis. So you can see the right side. That's where our hose is going to go. And this is going to go inside that hole there and on top. There we go. That's how that looks there. Here's our fuel tank, and it's going to go just like that. So we want these slots just as I'm showing you them, and it's going to go just like that. BPO 4 screws go into this. There we go. That's good. And it's going to mount to these two slots here on the chassis, just like that. Turn it over. And two BPO 4 screws go into this. Just right in there. And do the other side. And that's good. That's screwed down. And that's how that looks. And that's all we do with stage 59. Let's head over and do stage 60. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 60. Stage 60, we receive the left rear wheel, and that would be the rim itself. Got the hubcap. We're going to put the tire on. Going to go ahead and heat up the tire in boiling water. I'll bring it back up in some aluminum foil because my oven is downstairs. Make sure it's true and round on the rim. Then we're going to install it on the chassis, on the brake assembly. That's what that looks like. Put a screw into it. We're going to lubricate that axle for the screw, and we're going to put the hubcap on. And that's what it will look like. I'll be right back with the parts. Here's the parts for stage 60. I'll take it out of the bag. We'll get a closer look. BD01 screws. Very nice chrome hubcap. Very cool. And the wheel itself. Lots of detail there. I love the color match for the bus. Very nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and heat up the tire and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Tire is real pliable now. So we will put this on the rim. And just like they show, nice. Okay, so now we'll mount this to the axle. We'll go ahead and line this up with the drum. You have a larger hole and a smaller hole. There we go. And we'll put our BD01 screw. Next, I'll go ahead and install the hubcap. It is magnetized. Perfect. That's how that looks. And that's all we do with stage 60. Let's head over and do stage 61. And welcome back. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 61. Stage 61, we receive the tire, but we actually build the exhaust and the air filter. So we'll gather both those parts. We'll put on the air filter first. Goes on top of the carburetor. Then we'll work on the exhaust. And that goes behind the engine. And that's all we do. Let me get the parts and I will be right back. And here's the parts for stage 61. I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of that tire. Once again, very nice there. Alright, so I got the air cleaner here, and this part is going to mount on the top of the carburetor, and we're going to put an air hose on the other side. So the way that works is we'll slot it into the air hose first on the side, and then we'll smash it down on top of the carburetor. There it is. Give you a close-up of that. And that's how that looks there. Now let's go ahead and put on the exhaust. So we need to turn this over. Okay, so I'll bring over the exhaust, and this is going to smash down inside of these two slots here with those large pins. Just like that. And the exhaust systems will snap in, and that's how that looks there. Looks great. Very cool. Okay, let's head over and do the last stage for pack 13, and that's stage 62. I'll be right back. Let's look at the build instructions for the final stage for pack 13, stage 62. Stage 62, we work on the right rear wheel, and these are all the parts, much like we did in the earlier stage. And put the tire on the wheel. I already showed you how that's done. We have to preheat the tire, so I'm not going to show that again. I'm just going to show you this section here where I install it on the chassis. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 62. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. BD01 screw, hubcap made of plastic, and the wheel. Okay, the wheel's been mounted already. Looks great. Now we're going to go ahead and mount it to the axle. Take my tape off here. Once again, line it up with the correct pins, large and small. BD01. And there we go. And go ahead and put the cap on. There we go. Looks great. And that's all we do with stage 62. Fantastic and very easy to do. Pack 13. Had a blast building this pack. Very easy. Very simple. And if you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles. You can start all the way from pack 1. It's fantastic and a beautiful, beautiful bus. If you're a Volkswagen fan, it's a must-have for Volkswagen fans. Anyway, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.